So, as we know, Avengers Doomsday predominantly and primarily is there to set up Avengers Secret Wars. Now, you were here and you've probably heard over the last month or so that the Russo brothers, Marvel Studios, can't decide how to end Avengers Doomsday. Well, realistically, you should be able to use your own brain and know that is a lie. Josh Brolin said, for both Infinity War and Endgame, they didn't have a complete 100% script, but they had most of it worked out. So we know that at the end of Avengers Doomsday, Battleworld is going to be set up, right? They're not going to set Battleworld up halfway into the movie. It will happen right at the end, probably the ending or the post-credit scene. Now, we've seen the leaked concept art for Battleworld, where we've seen lots of different variations of Hulk. We've even seen God Emperor Doom. We see Sue Storm, we see Franklin Richards, we see what looked like a medieval kind of layout. Now, if you know anything, you know concept art doesn't always make it to the final product. There's lots of different concept art, but this whole narrative that no one knows how Doomsday is going to end, it's going to end with Doctor Doom winning. But with all the recent rumors going around, I think it makes this movie a little bit more simple than what people are making out to be. So, you've probably heard the rumor going around that Steve Rogers created all these incursions because he stayed with Peggy. But did that really happen? I'm not really convinced, right? Because Steve would have created a loop, right? And within this loop, there would be infinite possibilities, including infinite incursions. So what you could really say is, throughout phase 5 and phase 6, there's been lots of different characters that have messed up and caused massive amounts of incursions. Now, it's not 100% being confirmed that Doctor Doom is from the Fantastic Four's universe, although Feige said they will be visiting that universe, and the Latveria seat was empty in the Fantastic Four movie. We had a post-credit scene where we see Doctor Doom. I don't believe that was Robert Downey Jr. there, because taking the mask off and showing us the face would have been much more impactful, right? But the impression Sue Storm gave is that she knew him, and it's probably going to come out that their old school buddies, Reed and Victor. So the whole hypotheses and what people are thinking is the Fantastic Four are going to flee from their universe to the 616. We've seen what looks like the Fantastic Four ship arrive on Earth 616, the main timeline, the sacred timeline, if you like, in the new Avengers, the Thunderbolts post-credit scene, right? Because apparently Doom is going to steal said child. So Doctor Doom is supposed to be the hero of this universe. The hero. He's trying to save the multiverse. He's trying to stop all these incursions. He's pretty much doing a Thanos role. Pretty much doing a Josh Brolin role. Now, you could put all these theories and leaks, because they're pretty much similar, rumors all together. And it does sound a bit like a time heist, but not really. It sounds like a heist to try and stop the incursions from happening so that hundreds, if not billions of people do not die. So we know a big portion of this movie will be them going to wherever Monica Rambeau is. It's being called the X-Men universe. And I guess one of the teams will go that way to try and help them. But it looks like somehow they're going to get into some variation of some kind of fight. That is what is being described. And then we've seen on set, it looks like Sentinels. And it looks like for some reason, Doctor Doom wants the X-Men, wants the Avengers to be fighting, right? And then you slide into the DMs with this whole new storyline that Steve Rogers caused the incursions. Doctor Doom wants him dead, right? So what's going to happen is they're probably going to use maybe Franklin Richards or American Chavez, who's the only character that seems to be able to travel the multiverse easily, but it doesn't seem like she's going to have a big part to play when really she should do. So they're probably going to go back in time to where Steve is with Peggy and try and save him, right? Are you with me? Then essentially when that plan fails, what else can Doctor Doom do, right? Essentially this movie is got to, and it will always end with the TVA getting involved. Now, the canon, it's so loose if you watch Multiverse of Madness and also if you watch Loki season 1 and 2. So Loki's going to have some rumored team called the Exile, Team Loki, right? With Deadpool, Wolverine, Captain Carter, Captain America, Nomad, Sylvie, Gambit, Hunter, B-15. Now, what I find interesting is this whole theory that the multiverse can't survive if a version of Steve Rogers is alive. But the multiverse was already there. We just hadn't seen it before Avengers Endgame. It's not like the multiverse just appeared. It was always there. Now, when you look at the rumors that Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow, and all these other characters appearing in Doomsday, it chronologically doesn't make any sense for a lot of actors that haven't been confirmed. Even the likes of Scarlet Witch, because realistically, if Franklin Richards is going to be OP, we don't know what level he's going to be at, why couldn't Doctor Doom just use Franklin Richards to travel from reality or universe to universe, if that's going to be the case? If not, American Chavez. So there is a long list of characters allegedly that will be announced later this month, but I don't actually think that's going to be the case. Sure, bro, I think there's going to be a lot more characters in this movie than have been confirmed so far. I give you that, and there will be a bunch of different teams trying to save the day. But when I keep hearing this repeated rumor, they don't have a plan, they don't know how this movie's going to end, it does make no sense to me. Sure, there will be significant amount of casualties, including major losses of characters that we love in this movie, because there's got to be serious ramifications. And this is not a time travel movie. This is a movie about trying to save the multiverse. Realistically, Doctor Doom wants to be the hero, but he can't be the hero without creating Battleworld. And when he fails or either does kill Steve Rogers, Captain America, regardless to which version it is, that's not going to stop all the incursions from happening, because they would have already happened. Now, I get it. If Doctor Doom travels back in time to try to do this, would it stop all the incursions happening on this infinite time leap that I think they're on? I don't know. But either way, the TVA, him going to Loki, to the Citadel, to the end of time, does make a lot of sense. Now, Doctor Doom having an evil Avengers team, I think that's fake leaks, actually. No, he was supposed to have King Thanos, Captain Hydra, Ultron, Maestro Hulk, Mephisto, Warstu, The Maker, Null, Evil Black Widow. But why does he need all them? There isn't really that many powerful beings around anymore. Except for Captain Marvel, except for Sentry, except for Thor. There really isn't many big hitters in the MCU anymore, sadly. So, allegedly, the new Avengers team, right? Doom's team, Fantastic Four team, Team Loki, the X-Men, Sam Wilson Avengers. That's the bunch of teams that are all exclusively, except for Doom's team, going to be trying to stop the incursions. But this whole multiversal saga has been trying to stop the incursions. But before we even get to this movie, the only people that know about the incursions is Monica Rambeau. Captain Marvel knows there's something up, right? And Doctor Strange knows there's something up, until we get to start the movie where someone like Shuri is probably going to be the person that will notice these anomalies, you know, because Doctor Doom's character will be very similar to Thanos in Infinity War, believing he is the hero. He will view the multiverse incursions as a serious threat, and he will likely try and stop anyone that is going to try to ruin the multiverse, but ultimately he wants to take control. So when people keep saying stuff like, yeah, you don't know what's going on in this movie, it's going to be so insane, you don't know what's going to happen at the end of the movie, Battleworld will be created. It's just a case of how do we actually get there? Because traveling the multiverse is not easy. It took Galactus years to get from place to place. He did devour many Earths. Sure, bro. But it took him a long time to get there. So I don't think this movie is going to be as complex as what people are trying to make it out to be. So in this video, I've summed up basically every leak of what everyone's saying is going to happen in this movie. But the new discovery of Captain America being the catalyst of everything that's happened, incursion-wise, I don't know if I buy that. Chris Evans is definitely going to be in this movie, for sure. I do believe that. The TVA are definitely shady. We know that based on Loki show. We know that based on Deadpool and Wolverine. And sure, Reed is an intelligent guy, and he's probably going to come up with the plan, and Doom's probably going to use some of the TVA technology, or Reed's technology, or Kang's technology, because that would still exist. There's definitely fake leaks out there. I know that, because I know someone on the set of a Doomsday and on the set of Brand New Day. But what I get told privately isn't anything I would speak about publicly. That is why I get told a lot of stuff in a multiple of different sub-genres. The Monsterverse, DC, Marvel. I don't speak openly about what I'm told. But this multiversal saga, is it really going to be this simple? Cap messing with the timeline, set up back in Endgame, sure. It's a good way, and Chris Evans said he would only return if the storyline made sense. It does make sense. But is it going to be as simple? Doom's plan is ultimately going to be to eliminate everything and anyone, including 616, in order to save the universe. He's going to try and not have to take everything out, but he's going to have to destroy everything to rebuild it when he fails. And ultimately, he would need Loki's power, along with Franklin Richards' powers. We know the Molecule Man is not going to play a part. The Anchor Beings are probably going to play a part. So would Doom need the Anchor Beings, or would he kill the Anchor Beings? There is so much up in the air so far for this movie, because the Council of Kang still should play a massive part. American Chavez's literal power is to bounce around the multiverse, pretty much. So we know Secret Wars, we know Battle World is going to be ultimately where they are going. But it's Strange, clear. Are they going to play a big part? Or is the leak we went over the other day real about Strange showing up in the post-credit scene? Because these incursions, yes, they are crazy, right? But we've not really seen many. So I find it interesting when TikToks and when certain things come on Twitter, because it's like no one knows what's going to happen, but everyone knows. But now this such a little plot point has come out. Now everyone's changed their mind that it's so much different to what you think. And I think it is, but ultimately it's going to be the same. They have to go to the Citadel. They have to go to the end of time where Loki is. They need Loki's powers in order to try to save it. But Doom's going to have to create his own universe. And that essentially is how Secret Wars will open up. Everything will need to be destroyed. Everything will go to black. And then a new reality and a new universe, aka Battle World, will be created. It's a pretty simple story, yet a lot of people are making it out to be complicated. So that's how I would interpret what's going to happen. Regardless of whatever comes out after said video, after I post this, regardless to what else new comes out, the ending will always be the same. We're going to go into Avengers Secret Wars with everything destroyed. Some Avengers will be dead and lost, and there'll be no hope until the random multiverse Avengers, maybe the Illuminati, appear in Secret Wars, because we know the MCU is getting a soft reboot. Let's hope it's not a shitty one like James Gunn did. Let's be honest, that's not even a reboot. Let's be honest, that's definitely not even close to a reboot. But that's essentially the plot for Avengers Doomsday. It can't really go down any other way. Based on the set pieces that we've seen and based on everything that we know, it's going to, even if, say, Steve Rogers does die, that's not going to stop the incursions. It might slow it down if that rumor or leak is true. But ultimately, he has to go to Loki. He needs Loki powers. He wants to be the savior. He wants to create a universe. He wants to become God Emperor Doom, but just how we get there. I'm not sure if I'm happy with how this plot's going to play out, if that's true, but ultimately, there's no other way you can get to Secret Wars without the incursions playing out and everything being destroyed and someone having to create a new universe. Might not even be Doom, could be Loki, could be Franklin Richards himself. Who knows? Franklin Richards and Doom could get into a fight like a previous plot leak said. We know Franklin's working with him, potentially, and maybe he screws him over last minute, like a plot leak suggested that I went over about 2 weeks ago. But I find it fascinating going over all this stuff. So like always, guys, check us out on Instagram at Warstu. Check us out on TikTok, Warstu. Check us out on Twitter, WarstuG. And I will catch you in another video very soon. Catch ya later.